Crazy story for you out of Los Angeles, California. As you see today, I'm wearing my California made Texas raised t shirt. Get yours today at mixtexanstore.com. But anyway, a man was ambushed because he tried to set up a date with a woman on a dating app. Big mistake. Be careful with this stuff. This is crazy. Let's check it out.
He thought he was meeting a woman for a first date after an online connection, but it turned out to be a setup instead. He was ambushed, shot at, and robbed. That's
Well, I can see two reasons why he wanted to meet up with this woman.
when the victim fled and the attackers stole his car and his cash.
Rick Chambers is live in MacArthur Park with details on the dating app ambush and the suspects police are looking for. Rick.
Yeah, Micah, it's Rampart gang detectives that have been working this case for about 3 weeks now, and they're looking for two couples who have been targeting online daters. These are the four robbery suspects that police are looking for. And this woman in particular, they say lured our victim off an online dating site.
When they met in person, the female suspect had asked the victim to drive to a secluded area in our Rampart area.
This is that street near downtown, and they weren't there very long when
two additional suspects came over, and one of the male suspects had opened the door of the victim's vehicle. He pointed a gun at him, demanded his property.
They also demanded at gunpoint that the victim unlock his phone and hand over his passwords.
Throughout the night, that same night, what they did was they actually made various transfers. They bought many things that totaled about $20,000.
Man, that is wild. 20 grand? That's insane. How many people have they done this to? These are the dangers with online dating. This is the risk that you take. I know there are a lot of people that met online, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be very careful because people like to set people up. Hey, let's meet up somewhere. You know, I saved a friend, potentially saved a friend from falling into a trap like this one day. This was many years ago. He wanted to meet up with her about an hour and a half away. I said, hey, I don't think you should do this. This doesn't sound like a good idea. And he didn't go. And I feel like this could have been a setup. Based on I saw what she looked like, and I was like, I don't know about this woman here. But yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
It gives me the goosebumps, actually.
Daniel Contreras lives nearby and says he'll make some adjustments now to his routine.
Maybe just aware on the online situation, and to be more aware and the lookout.
And detectives say that the robbery at gunpoint wasn't the end to our victim's nightmare.
The male suspects actually shot towards the victim who was seated in his vehicle. The victim in fear actually fled the location and left his vehicle back there.
The robbers came back 3 hours later and stole the man's car, dumping.
I mean, you can see why they use that woman to lure these men in. They get distracted very easily by her assets. I'm just pointing out the obvious, but you know, it's scary. I've never had an online date before, met anybody online before, ever. But hey, to each their own. If that's what works for you. I know guys who are crazy good with this online dating stuff. I've known guys who are like pros at this stuff, but I just think if you're going to do that, you have to be very careful. You know, meet up in a well-lit place, lots of people around, but still, it can still be a nut job either way. You might get to know them, and then a second date, they act crazy. You never know.
It nearly 7 miles away in this alley, just off 56th and Central, and then set it on fire. At this point, police have these photos to work with, but no arrest yet. As is often the case in these types of crimes, police are asking anyone with information to come forward, and especially if you've been a victim to this type of crime. In MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Scary stuff. Be careful out there. I've noticed that the online dating is becoming more popular. It's a lot more prevalent now how people are meeting each other. And like I said, that's fine. But want to know what other people think about it. Do you think that this is taking away from the social aspect of going out meeting people, talking to people in person? Back in the day, you know, at least when I was a little bit younger, a lot of people would meet in person at work. I'm sure they still do. I mean, they do, but it's not as common nowadays when you go out in public, you meet somebody and then you get to know them in person. I think that's better because you get to see them right there. You get to talk to them, get to know them, and then versus talking to them behind a keyboard or on your phone, typing a message on your phone back and forth for 2 weeks, then meeting up for a date because they could be putting on a front this entire time. And they can do the same thing in person. I'm no dating expert, but I'm just saying what my observation is that in person, I feel like is better. That's just my opinion. So I don't know what you think about this. Um, I like to hear people's opinions on it because I know, like I said, online dating is a big thing. You have the swipe left, swipe right stuff, and people they can just pull up your phone and then okay, you can detect talk to 10 different women at the same time or men. There there are women that do this stuff too. There are women that date multiple men. They talk to multiple guys on these apps and then meet up with them. They have different dates lined up. And this is nothing new, but yeah, it's interesting stuff. But this right here is scary because this could happen to anybody if you're not careful. So this guy got very lucky that he didn't get shot, that he didn't get hit by these bullets, and he was able to run away. And look, the car is not worth it compared to your life, but 20 grand is a lot of money. And like I said, how many people have they done this to? It's like, do you just, do you just wake up one day and I want to know what these criminals do. Do they just wake up and say, "Hey, let's target this guy today," or "Let's go hit up this store today. Let's go rob TJ Maxx." I almost saw a theft the other day. I thought it was going to happen the other day. I was inside of the store and these people were filling up stuff with baskets full of stuff. And I saw two people, then I saw another guy come in afterwards. I'm like, where'd this guy come from? And I was just watching and I was like, I don't think they're going to buy this stuff because it was just shoes lined up, sandals and all kinds of shoes lined up perfectly inside the basket. And then there were handbags in another basket. And then there was luggage inside of another one. It's like, this looks pretty fishy to me. This looks like you're going to sell this out of a trunk or go to what's that, a swap meet or what, a flea market, whatever they call them. I've heard different terms. I know as a kid in California, it was called a swap meet, and I've heard different things. Like I don't know, wherever you're from, it may be different. I don't know what they call them out here in Texas. No, I've been here a long time, don't even know. But yeah, I didn't think that was going to turn out well. I don't know what happened because I left. I'm glad I saw the two guards, at each entrance. So that made me feel better. But do people just wake up and instead of going to work or doing something productive for themselves, starting a business, whatever do you have many opportunities in this country to do whatever you want legally? That's legal. And obviously the things that you can do illegally as well, as you see these people right here. But it just like these wake up out of bed one day and say, all right, let me call this person, text that person. We're going to meet up. We're going to get this guy. We found a sucker or a potential sucker, and we're going to rob him today. It's crazy to think about that these people coordinate and plan these things, and you could be walking amongst them every single day. You could walk past them in the grocery store or wherever, and then they turn around and hit up somebody for 20 grand. It's just crazy to think about how people are such losers and low lives that they use all that energy to take from other people and take from businesses and take shortcuts instead of do the right thing and make life a whole lot simpler for yourself. You're risking the chance of going to prison. You're risking the chance of hurting other people, hurting yourself. It's just not worth it. A life of crime is not worth it. just do the right thing. But these people are scumbags, and I would like to see more people like this behind bars because they don't need to be in our society. I mean, I hope that there's a way for these people to redeem themselves and turn their lives around. But yeah, it's crazy to think about. All right, guys, we're going to leave that right there. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.